Dear Dr. Fels, Enrico, thank you very much for the kind introduction and the warm words. I'm feeling very honored being here. Ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about security, competitiveness, and strategic capability, we must talk about space. Space is no longer a niche topic. It is a central element of our industrial strength, our security, our sovereignty, and our future. I would like to thank the Center for Advanced Security Strategic and Integration Studies for hosting this event and for having me. It's a pleasure to speak here at CASIS, one of the very few civilian university institutions in Germany conducting social science and security policy research on space. We need more institutions like CASIS. Universities are key in shaping our thinking in space. Why is this so relevant? Because the strategic dimension of space has shifted fundamentally over the past 2 decades. During the Cold War, space was primarily a state-dominated domain, symbolic of technological and military power. Today, we are witnessing a paradigm shift. Space has become a competitive, contested, and commercialized domain. Because most space technologies can serve both civilian and military purposes, this development has far-reaching implications for international security and strategic stability. New space, as we call it sometimes, stands for moving beyond familiar structures. It means acting fast, trying new approaches, and having the courage to take risks. Europe needs exactly this mindset if we want to play a real role in global space activities and not just watch from the sidelines. The big question of the future, security, digitalization, raw materials, energy, climate, will not be decided on Earth alone. They will also be decided in orbit. And this is not a futuristic scenario. It's happening right now. Space is already one of the key strategic technologies and fields. It strengthens our industries across all sectors here on Earth. It secures technological sovereignty, opens new business models, and creates economic resilience and an increasingly unstable geopolitical environment. This is not a promise. It is an economic fact. According to the study Aufholjagd im All by Roland Berger and the Federation of German Industries, the global market for space-based infrastructure and services is expected to quadruple by 2040, from around 500 billion to 2 trillion euros. The study highlights the enormous cross-sectoral potential of space, as well as the challenges we must address. Many people ask, do we have no other, more pressing problems here on Earth? Why should we invest so much money in space? The answer is yes, we must invest in space. The Apollo program shows why. In the 1960s, it was government demand for cutting-edge technology. Smaller, faster, and more reliable computers had unleashed an unprecedented wave of innovation in the United States. This state-driven push created enormous economic wealth and laid the foundation for today's digital world. As the Roland Berger study points out, the American innovation ecosystem, the close network of public funding, research, universities, venture capital, and commercialization can be traced back directly to the Apollo program and the creation of DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Project Agencies. DARPA was founded to undertake high-risk, high-reward research and became the birthplace of key technologies like the internet and modern microelectronics. Without these two pillars, there would be no Silicon Valley, no global technological leadership of the US economy. Apollo proved that bold goals inspire nations, accelerate technological progress, and generate prosperity far beyond the space sector itself. And back to Europe. While the opportunities are growing, so is the gap between Europe and the United States and China. We have to be honest about that. This gap has consequences that go far beyond space. Those who are not competitive in orbit will lose sovereignty in key areas on Earth. This is why space is not just an industrial policy issue, it is a security policy issue. It is a sovereignty issue. Europe has a strong industrial base. We must secure this strength and expand it strategically. One example can be seen in Germany. At the BDI Space Congress 2025, a couple of weeks ago, Defense Minister Boris Pistorius announced that the federal government will invest 35 billion euros in space capabilities by 2030. This is a real game changer. 7 billion euros per year, the same as the annual space budget of the European Space Agency. This decision is a substantial strategic commitment and sends a clear message. Space is not nice to have, it is strategically essential. This strategic reorientation is not happening in isolation. Around the world, governments are massively increasing their defense-related space budgets. In the United States and in Israel, space has long been a core element of defense. NATO has officially declared space the fifth operational domain, alongside land, air, sea, and cyber. In November this year, the ESA Ministerial Council in Bremen will decide on the future of Europe in space. Europe must step up and commit the necessary level of funding for the next 3 years. If we act decisively now, we can increase our market share and strengthen Europe's role in the global space economy. But, and history shows that clearly, money alone will not get us there. Capital is necessary, but without the right framework, it will not have real impact. Europe's space ecosystem has grown in recent years because there was room to act, especially here in Germany, where we have a very dynamic new space ecosystem. Too much regulation would slow this down. New regulations bring more costs, more bureaucracy, more uncertainty. So we need to be very wise in undertaking that. Bureaucracy hits startups and small and medium-sized enterprises the hardest, the very actors of many innovation. The planned EU legislation, the so-called EU Space Act, raises concerns. The EU has no clear legal competence. A one-size-fits-all approach ignores national strength and needs. And it risks repeating the mistakes of the AI Act, too much regulation at the wrong time. We need an environment that supports innovation, not blocks it. Public institutions should not try to do everything themselves. They should act as anchor customers. Contracts are the most efficient way to promote innovation. They create markets, secure demand, and attract additional private investment. That's very important. And this is not a theory. Other countries have shown us how it works in practice. The United States uses dual sourcing, competition, not dependency. Israel uses government contracts to drive defense innovation. Ukraine, we created Brave One, an agile innovation platform connecting industry, research, and security institutions. We also see promising initiatives here in Europe. The European Launcher Challenge, the Flight Ticket Initiative, the Space Innovation Hub here in Germany. These initiatives show what is possible when policy, industry, and research work together. But we must be brave enough to turn pilot projects into real industrial policy. And we should not forget, space is a critical infrastructure. The cyber attack on Viasat on the 21st of February 2022, 1 hour before the Russian ground attack on Ukraine, was a warning. Without satellites, there is no secure communication, no intelligence, no navigation. Without space, there is no operational capability on Earth. Space capabilities are, again, no longer nice to have. They are essential elements of national and allied defenses. This is why investment decisions are not only about technological progress, but about security, resilience, and strategic deterrence. The loss of European access to space after the end of Ariane 5 was a strategic shock. 1 year without launcher capacity and the reliance on Russian Soyuz rockets. This must never happen again. Let me be clear. If Europe wants to be taken serious as a security actor, it must be able to guarantee its own access to orbit. And I'm therefore very happy that Europe is back with the new Ariane 6 rocket. Responsive space, the ability to launch quickly and flexible, must also become a central European goal. History teaches us clear lessons. Large budgets alone do not guarantee good outcomes. Especially times of rapid expansion, poor investment decisions can have long-term negative consequences. To fully leverage this innovation potential, the state must act as a strategic investor. Public funds should be used to build agile ecosystems between industry, established companies, startups, SMEs, and research institutions. This is how additional private investment can be mobilized. Competitive procurement processes, targeted dual-use promotion, and early demonstration missions can accelerate technology transfer between defense and the civilian sector. Every euro invested in this way strengthens both security and Europe's technological sovereignty. In short, investing in space means investing in security, innovation, and prosperity. This is why the upcoming ESA Ministerial Council is more than a technical meeting. It is a strategic moment for Europe. The decisions made there will shape the competitive landscape for years to come. If Europe wants to remain relevant, it must make bold decisions on funding, on industrial policy, and on regulatory frameworks that enable growth. Franco-German cooperation will be critical in this regard. When we talk about new space, we are talking about enabling, not restricting, about creating rooms to act, not closing it down. Europe must not regulate away its own competitiveness. We must target public funding where it creates innovation. We must modernize procurement faster, more open, and more competitive. And we must align defense and industrial strategy to create sustainable technological leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, Europe must rise up to this strategic challenge. We must create freedom, not limit it. We must create incentives, not obstacles. And we must rise up together as Europe and seize this strategic opportunity. Because who masters space will shape the future. Thank you very much.